Special shout out to all our patrons who support the show every week. Head on over to patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast and subscribe today for bonus content, special shout outs on social media, and so much more. Patrons, you help keep the Run, Eat, Drink podcast going, and we couldn't do it without you. Not a patron yet? Join us today at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast.
You can also support the show by using our brand new Amazon affiliate link anytime you shop on Amazon.com for things like running gear, food, beverages, or anything else the little gray trucks might bring your way. Just go to runeatdrink.net/Amazon anytime you shop. It costs nothing extra, and it helps us keep the lights on and the bandwidth flowing. Go to runeatdrink.net/Amazon, and we thank you for your support.
Hi, I'm Jeff Galloway, and you are listening to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey, welcome to episode 229, a bonus episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. I'm your host, Amy, and I am currently without my co-host. That is right. I have sent my intrepid field reporter / co-host to the field. In the field, however you want it. I've sent him into the field for some upcoming goodies right around this race weekend. Okay, maybe I didn't send him, but I'm recording this without his knowledge. Shh. And it will be very clear to you why here in a few moments. This is a bonus episode this week. It's going out ahead of the Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2022. And in this episode, where I'm flying solo, so be kind, but also let me know how I do. And I hope I do well. Flying solo. I miss my co-host. I cannot wait for him to join me in the next episode, where we accomplish, explore, and indulge yet again together with the Runcation Nation. But in the meantime, in this episode, we will talk about you and I. You are my co-host. I am flying solo. So the Runcation Nation is my co-host as I talk about, in the running segment, a couple of tips and a request. A couple of tips we forgot to mention in our episode previewing one of our favorite race weekends here in Florida. And in the food and beverage portion, the eating and the drinking portions of our show, we will play yet another preview of one of our favorite booths, and you will hear our hot takes. As a fellow podcaster from the Be Our Guest podcast, Mike Rallman, says, you will hear our hot takes on the Coastal Eats booth. Can seafood live up to the highest expectation of my co-host, a born and raised Floridian? Find out on the episode 229 today. But first, we do have shout outs, and one of them, actually two of them are birthday shout outs from us and, of course, the rest of the Runcation Nation. Jennifer Hall is celebrating a birthday this week, and Tory Nadeau, patron of the show, is celebrating a birthday this week. So the November birthdays, we're kicking off November right. Happy birthday to longtime supporters of the show, Jennifer Hall and Tory Nadeau. Tory is Rob Nadeau's daughter. We lost him all too soon last year, and she has just come on board and supported us and been so great. Their whole entire family has, and we can't thank them enough. Jennifer and Tory, have amazing birthdays this week and accomplish, explore, and indulge a little bit for us. Let us know what you do to celebrate. It's a first here in the shout outs. It's a first. We have received an email shout out. Maybe it's a first. I don't know. You have to tell me if I'm wrong, Runcation Nation, since I'm flying solo as a host. We have received, it's been a long time since we've received an email shout out. We got one at something like 9 or 10 a.m. this morning. So I thought I would include it in the shout outs. It was just so sweet and so unexpected. So thank you for sending it our way. And here is the shout out as it was written in the email to info@runeatdrink.net. Hey guys, I absolutely love your show. I found it during quarantine when there were no races, and it really got me through some dark times running wise. It's one of my favorite podcasts out there, and the positivity you bring to the show really shines through. So thank you for doing what you do. I wanted to give you a shout out. We thank you for listening. And she goes on. My husband, Jordan, recently completed his first 5K at the Run Daytona 5K in Daytona Beach, Florida. This is a big deal because he's not a runner and did it for me since I'm the runner in the house. I wanted to give him a shout out and let him know how proud I am of him. Thank you so much for doing what you do again, Christine. Christine, thank you for our shout out. Hey, shout out to Jordan. Way to get it done. We want to do that race weekend. It's on our bucket list. Christine, we can't thank you enough for letting us know that what we do has had a positive impact on your life. Anybody else who feels that way, please feel free to send in that shout out or give us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. A rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Five-star reviews always welcome. But the feedback, oh gosh, Christine, this means so much to us. And I'm the kind who prints and saves things like this, emails like this. I will definitely save this one. Thank you again, and shout out and congratulations to Jordan on the 5K in Daytona. For anyone who would like a shout out on the show, please don't forget to send them to us, like Christine. We do our best to collect shout outs throughout the week. Please send them our way so we don't miss them to info@runeatdrink.net. That's info@runeatdrink.net. Attach them as an audio file or a written shout out like Christine's this week. info@runeatdrink.net. Or you can call and leave us a voicemail at 941-677-2733. That's right. Send a shout out for you or someone you know in the Runcation Nation at 941-677-2733. And we will make you Runcation Nation famous and play it on the show. Now let's talk running. We just had to let you know what we forgot to include in the episode 228, which came out this week earlier. On Half Marathon Morning, the Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2022, which is this Sunday, November 6th, it's going to be time to set your clocks back. Daylight saving time comes to an end, and that's at 2 a.m. on race morning. Don't fall victim like Amy did. I'm speaking of myself in the third person because I feel like Dana would say, if he were here right now, hey, don't do what our host did. Set your alarm before realizing that you needed to fall back an hour at 2 a.m. when you normally get up to do your morning routine, put on your costume, head down and catch the bus, only to realize it's 1 a.m. Okay, I didn't really do that. I didn't go down and catch a bus. Otherwise, Dana would have said, Amy, are you crazy? It's 1 a.m. for real. I got up. I was doing yoga. I took a shower, and then I realized that it was daylight saving time when I saw the clock on my phone change. So I laid back down for an hour. And oh gosh, I felt so groggy, and it wasn't the way to kick off a race morning. So don't be me. Don't be your host of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. Please, if you are running Wine and Dine or any race on Sunday morning, don't forget to do the math, set your alarm appropriately. Daylight saving time, we're going to fall back at 2 a.m. on November 6th. Yes, don't forget. Please, don't let what happened to me happen to you. Have a great race morning. Plan, and adjust the alarms accordingly. We also wanted to talk about weather, but really, in looking at the forecast, I don't think we're going to have rain. So far, we're a few days out when the forecast is pretty fairly, maybe it's a forecast. What can you say? But I believe that we're going to get into the 70s and maybe close to the 80s without rain. So it may be humid. I would say packing might not be a challenge, but also stay hydrated, my friends and fellow runners. Anyone in a cheer squad, please stay hydrated. We are so thankful that you are out there on the course cheering us on. Total stranger, I'm proud of you. That race sign means so much to me. It gets me choked up every time I see it. Someone always has it, as well as all the other race signs that just keep me going and keep me thinking about that finish line, and can't thank you enough. If you're running, if you're cheering, if you are spectating, please stay hydrated. And because it's a little bit of a warmer morning is what it looks like to us. So ding, 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 ring the weather bell. I won't do it so I don't upset Buck, our mascot, the dog. Lastly, we need your help. This weekend, we're running the half marathon after a training season. If you have listened to any of our most recent episodes, the training season has been, shall we say, less than stellar, Runcation Nation. We have had some challenges to overcome, and we've been doing a great job overcoming them and doing what we needed to do to get the best training cycle in that we possibly can. Another thing that would help us so very much, we're huge fans of Jeff Galloway's book, Mental Training for Runners. It's available on Amazon. We have an Amazon affiliate link. It's in the show notes if you want to check it out. There are lots of tips, tricks, and strategies that Jeff, our coach and America's coach, shares with all of you through that book. It's just amazing. It's like having a written copy of what he shares with you at his booth during the Run Disney race weekends. I can't recommend it enough. It's on Amazon, and it may be on jeffgalloway.com as well. Get it however you would like to get it, how you get your books. But we are big fans of not letting that monkey brain, as he says, take over, and being as positive as we can during race morning as we hit those challenges. That could be weather related. That could be just we hit a wall because we didn't hit the mileage that we wanted to. And we did the best we absolutely could in hitting the mileage that we could during the training cycle. So we have some stock positive mantras that we have developed with Jeff Galloway's book and his support being our coach over many years. We would really like to hear them in your voices. Special mantras and special messages for us that we can play on race day, or written ones that we can read as we are standing in the corral waiting for the race to begin. Oh, and I almost forgot. At the top of the show, I said, hey, it's a surprise. It's a secret for Dana. His birthday is Monday after our race. So technically, this is his race weekend birthday celebration, running these races. And I can think of no better way to celebrate him than to send him a shout out via our email address or phone number so that we could play those the morning of the race. We could play them on his birthday. We really would like a written mantra to help get us through the race weekend or the pre-race jitters the morning of that we could read. Ones we could listen to on the race course on our phones. Birthday wishes for Dana that will make him smile and push through a particularly tough point in the race, because you know we all have them. So I need your help, Runcation Nation. Please send us a written mantra we can read the morning of the race to info@runeatdrink.net. That's info@runeatdrink.net. Send us positive messages or birthday wishes for Dana at info@runeatdrink.net. And if they are recorded voice memos on your phone and you can attach them to the email and we can play them for him, all the better. Sometimes technology doesn't work out. So however you can send it, written or attached to that email, info@runeatdrink.net. We would love to have them. And if email's not your thing, if it's not working out for you, you can call our number and leave us a voicemail that we can play back. Super easy, very simple, would mean so much. I would love to surprise Dana with many messages from the Runcation Nation on race day, and we would really love your support. So call 941-677-2733. That's 941-677-2733, and leave us a message that we can listen to during the race. It will make all the difference for us. It will be a wonderful surprise for Dana on his birthday weekend, and you will be helping us make it to that finish line and achieve our goal. So in advance, for all those messages that you will send, thank you, Runcation Nation. Now, all this talk of running and positive mantras has made me hungry. I'm sure that Dana would be hungry if he were here too. So let's move on to the food and beverage, the eating and drinking segments of our show. And today, they come from the Coastal Eats booth, a little sneak peek of a booth that we thoroughly enjoyed at the International Food and Wine Festival. Yes, we snuck up to Epcot and did a preview so that anybody who is headed to this weekend as a spectator, as a runner, and is going to explore and indulge around the World Showcase, here's one that you should stop by. Some tasty treats from Coastal Eats at the 2022 Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. And here are our hot takes. Hey, Runcation Nation. We are here at the 2022 Epcot Food and Wine Festival. And we have stopped by the Coastal Eats booth right by our brand new favorite ride, Guardians of the Galaxy, to get a quick bite before we get in line.
Yeah, this area, they've expanded over the last couple of years to include a lot more food options in this part of the park.
They utilize the space more. There's the brand new one, the Fry Flight over here. There is one of our favorites from years past in Flavors from Fire with their swine brine and the potato chips and the pickled onions and the corned beef kind of nacho dish. But
corned beef nacho.
Which you could go back and you could find in our feed on runeatdrink.net if you wanted to hear about that. But we tried some new dishes today.
We did, and honestly, we went into this one with a lot of skepticism. Anytime that you're doing food truck or quick service type dining,
food booths
here at any of the festivals
of Florida, because you know Florida doesn't have a winter,
not much of one to speak of,
or a fall slightly.
No, we do not. We went to the booth called Coastal Eats, and they specialize in some seafood offerings, and that right there immediately had me thinking, set your expectations really low.
We are in Florida, having some of the best seafood down in Key West and the Keys itself, and then
Locally for shrimp.
And then also being in Alaska and having some of the best of the crab we've ever eaten.
We've been fortunate to live close to and get to travel to some amazing coastal food.
Our expectations very high.
So we decided to sample the entire menu, and that really only consists of 2 dishes. So that tells me right there that they thought it through.
Yeah.
And they limited the number of dishes they were offering. They had an Oysters Rockefeller, which gives you 3 oysters, and they had a seafood dip and crostini.
Yes.
And why don't we start with the oysters?
You want to start with the oysters? That is what we had first.
In the dish, you get 3 oysters that are prepared. The Oysters Rockefeller is traditionally, you've got the oyster and it's topped with herbed butter and cheese and spinach. These really surprised me.
There was an abundance of that spinach, and it was wilted perfectly. The crispy top was still crispy, like they served it piping hot.
Yes.
And it was so tender, I hardly even knew there was an oyster in there, to be honest.
Yeah, you got the flavor, which was great. Plenty of the liquor from the...
But
not liquor as in what you drink, but liquor is the juice.
The briny flavor of the ocean.
I was really surprised. I expected this to be like eating a pencil eraser.
And it wasn't.
Not at all.
It was not. That crispy top and the lemon that was served alongside was just perfect to bring out all the flavors.
Half a lemon and put that on the plate for you. Nice little touch for presentation. And you squeeze that over the oysters.
Just brings out all the flavor.
Perfect.
And
those are restaurant quality.
I agree with you. I would have it again. I also liked that we had the lemon from that and could use it on the scampi dip, which was the baked scampi dip with shrimp, scallops, and 4 pieces of a baguette. Just bread, not toasted or grilled or anything. Which I think made it softer, and you can soak up all the scampi dip goodness with that.
Yeah, this reminded me a lot of like spinach artichoke dips that you would get at your favorite sports bar, but with the addition of seafood in there.
Which was tender.
The seafood was done very well, I admit, and there was some spinach in there. If I had a ding for anything that we had, I think that this dish had a little too much parsley in it.
It was served
flavor
piping hot, so maybe if it's a hotter day, you might go for something a little cooler.
Oh yeah,
or a cold dish.
This was super fresh.
Yeah, super fresh, and just it was that buttery, scampy, lemony with that addition of the lemon that we saved from the oysters. Goodness. So I liked it.
And I could have used a little more bread, but I actually liked the fact that
4 pieces.
You had
maybe
ample,
6 would have been better.
6 would have been better.
For 2 people.
But you had ample dip in that serving, and it's so rich that you don't need more than that.
No, I think the serving size is it's good.
I think this, of many of these booths, was an excellent value for what you got.
Yeah. And
we were under $15 for both of the food items.
Yes, but we didn't just get food.
We did not.
We got beer. There are wine and beer offerings here at Coastal Eats, and we got the Bell's Lager of the Lakes Bohemian Pilsner from, looks like Cornstalk, Michigan.
Okay. And I can tell you on the
super
initial
golden
presentation of this,
color.
It's a nice clear beer, but it
Not
has
hazy.
a deep golden color, moderate to heavy carbonation.
Yes, and I like that.
What do you think of the flavor? What do you get initially?
There's a slight bitterness on the back of your tongue once you swallow, but I think it's just like a bready note to me.
Yeah, the initial breadiness does give way to exactly what you're talking about. The bitterness doesn't happen on the front of your tongue.
Yeah.
It happens after you swallow.
And the bread is not like a toasted bread, not like that. It's just like the bread we had with the scampi dip.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
Delicious. This right
refreshing.
now we're over 100-degree heat index here.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect walking around beer.
Yeah.
What's it clocked in for ABV?
It doesn't say.
Oh.
It might say over on the sign, but it doesn't say in the app where you can find in the My Disney Experience app, you just get the listings of all the beer and the description of the food.
Tell them more. I'll go check the sign.
It's a golden see-through color, and it's super refreshing. And we got the biggest serving of it, which was the 12-ounce, but you can also get a smaller if you're wanting to sample more throughout the festival, which is, I think, maybe a smart way to go, although we were thirsty, so we went with a larger pour of it. So just to recap, the scampi dip and the oysters Rockefeller, delicious. And this brew, Bell's is a bigger brewery, and it is one that you'll see throughout the United States. I believe it's well distributed. So Dana, did you get the ABV information we were looking for?
I did not from there. I had to go to the internet to find out. This one clocks in at 5% ABV.
Oh, not too bad. Pretty sessionable.
Pretty sessionable.
Yeah.
And this one is sold by Bell's in cans.
And Bell's is pretty widely distributed. I was talking about while you were going to find out.
Yeah, Bell's Oberon is probably one of their most
popular. Maybe a flagship.
Yeah. That one probably helps, as a lot of brewers say, this one keeps the lights on.
Yeah. So this booth I would come to, and this booth I would recommend if you're in the mood for seafood. They do seafood very well, which is very challenging, like you're saying, hard to do.
It's a hard sell if you're coming to Florida for vacation.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, I want seafood while I'm in Florida. Oh, let me get it at a food stand at Disney. This here, I actually can wholeheartedly recommend. And that's speaking as a Floridian.
Coastal Eats, you can come check it out if you're in the mood for some seafood, some lighter beer on a hot day. We'll give you more from the Epcot Food and Wine Festival 2022, so stay tuned.
Oh, that booth is delicious. And that's some high praise from a born and raised Floridian, a Florida native. The shrimp scampi, it used to be my favorite dish as a child. So I have a pretty high bar as well. Coastal Eats has just nailed it in terms of the food and has such a refreshing beverage to accompany those dishes. So we encourage you to check out Coastal Eats. It's right next to or near one of our favorite rides, the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which will be open during the post-race party after we cross the finish line at the Wine and Dine Half Marathon. So we hope to see you there. Hope you'll leave us some messages. Send them via email our way. And that's a wrap, everybody. But before we go, I just want to take a second opportunity this week to welcome our brand new sponsor to the show, Fitz Kohler. I want to tell you a little bit about her new course, Fixing Your Life with Fitzness. You and I, the Runcation Nation, we know Fitz as one half of Team Noisy, and she's been at a few start and finish lines, some of the most iconic races we have run in the most recent past, like the Donna Marathon Weekend and the Gasparilla Distance Classic. She's also very inspiring because of the way that she has handled, overcome, and shared lessons that she has learned as a cancer survivor and author in her book, My Noisy Cancer Comeback. She's talked about it on our show before, but did you know she is also a fitness expert with a master's degree in exercise and sports sciences from the University of Florida? Yes, I'll do it for you, Fitz. Go Gators, even though I went to Florida State for a very short time. Shh. Go Gators. She's been teaching fitness around the globe for decades. Did you know that? Fixing Your Life with Fitzness is an in-depth course that she has just launched with over 5 hours of content and it will change your life for the better in every way. How do we know? Dana and I have already started to take the course and apply the lessons. Her positivity, her genuine delivery. She is just, you can't help but be inspired by her in every way in these courses, in this course and in these modules. And the course is broken down into 8 powerful modules that she teaches herself, including strength training, stretching, cardio, balance training. I need lots of that. Staying fit while traveling, which is perfect as an accompaniment to what we do for the Run, Eat, Drink podcast, and so much more. I just can't encourage you enough to get started today at fitness.com and use our discount code exclusively for the Runcation Nation. When you sign up, enter RED22 in the discount code box at checkout for 10% off the entire course. Dana and I want to say thank you to Fitz for sponsoring this week's show. We will put a link to the course in our show notes. Don't forget about the discount code RED22 for 10% off. Check out her life-changing course, Fixing Your Life with Fitzness, at fitzness.com. Thank you for joining us, for joining me, for helping me as a co-host while my co-host has become an intrepid field reporter this week. So thank you for joining me on your long run, your commute to work, around the house, or wherever you are. I'm your host, Amy, and returning next week is your co-host, Dana. Stay safe and well, and we will accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon. That's Danny. She wanted to co-host for Dana in his place. So she's saying, we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having another great year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're Run, Eat, Drink Pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Find out how you can support the show at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.